say like we're on page Kuflam Adawin, and maybe we just did number Yud on this page, something like that. You still there? Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So let me just this is what I was thinking. Thinking like this. We this is going to be talking about the making of kalim to some extent. I don't know exactly how it works, but we've seen this before because in the Otzos Chaim, I guess it's in the beginning of Shara Kudim. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's there or right before that. I think it's in Yehudim. They talk about the banging together of the Oros Benimim with the Oros Makifim, and that banging together produces a Kli. So we talked about that. So this is not talking about that. So then what is this talking about? So I feel like that what you're talking about over there in Sharakudim is really the very beginning of the Tikkun. It's really the shorish. That idea is probably the shorish of the idea of Kalim, of how Kalim comes. There has to have some shorish at the very beginning. So when you're looking over there, you're looking at the beginning of creation, and now we're not looking at that place. Now we're after that time, and we're looking at Eric Anpin, and we're looking at particularly at the beard of Eric Anpin. So here we're talking about the reality that we have, that it is more manifest to us that we could see. Anyway, are we on number Yud? I think we might be on number Yud. Let's see what number Tess said. Let's read up at the top number Tess. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. Which one is, there we go. Okay, number Tess said, behind that, Memenu nishtal shel lamata kelim ba'acharayim shel partzufim atachtainim Abba ve'ima zer anpen v'nukva u'bebechinas olamos atachtonas bria yitzir and asiya. So from that perch that we were talking about, the first oilam, which is also we mentioned over there Bela, the first king that broke, and the nitzutzos the nitzutzos that come back from there and rebuilt in the time of the Tikkun into the first Tikkun of the beard of Eric Anpin, something like that. So that's what we're zeroing in on in that place. So number Yud says, Rei Mashi is bar l'cholon bebirach ha-meshulav be'inyan reisha achura is kafian, where it's going to talk about the head. Now, also this concept of the snake over here. Snake is a very powerful word. So he's kafian. Rei b'shar mamari Rashbi, etc. Al ha'idra rabba, and what is this? I'm trying to get to this. V'hine olam zeh, this olam arisha. Nimshak ad sham, it extends down to where? To that place. Amis achez sham ba'osim haksafim, hakasfayim, I guess, acharayim, zer anpin, and they're attached. This area attaches down to them. I'm not sure exactly where we're at. Let's see, Yasiya, so he ended up with that. So be'inyan hu ki mibechinas adas shehu zeh ha'olam harishon v'hamelech harishon ha'kolali ha'kolel, shtei bechinos chesed gevura. So the first king has two parts within him, so that makes three. Shel beis olamos ha'tachtainim, and so they're related to the lower worlds. B'inei hu nimshak achar kach al shtei hakasfayim shel chesed gevura, so then it extends down, that's das, to the shoulders, which is where chesed gevura starts. I've got educating us a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what the juice is in here. So look over there, b'zel l'shono. Hine sod elu ha'elef shel olam harishon, so there's this elef, this word elef, the 1,000 that referred to the first olam. Heim sod chasadim v'gevuras dadas. He said, ve'elu nimshachim ad lamata ad kasfayim de Eric Anpin, and they go downward until they reach the shoulders of Eric Anpin. V'hine Abba ve'ima malvishim Eric Anpin. So they cover over Eric Anpin. Behind the Kosef Yamin Asim Mochim the Resha the Abba. So that is the right arm is the Penimius, I guess you would say, of the head of the Mochin of the Resha the Abba. Because of small Mochin the Resha the Ima, so the left arm becomes the Penimius of that. So he said, "Bezehu kasvos chovros." This is what he means: is that the shoulders are joined. Shehem abba ve'ima muchubarim bebeis kasvim levad l'shneihem levad l'shneihem. So the concept is abba ve'ima are joined together at the shoulders of their Eric Anpin. Ki kosel v'doifen echad levad mapsik bein shenehem, because there's only one wall between them. I'm not sure exactly the picture I'm forming in my mind. So remember, it's like this. That now I'm trying to what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to picture what it would be like to have to be surrounded. Say like one is attached to the that is Abba is attached to the right arm and Ima is attached to the left arm. And now he wants to say that there's only one wall between them, and originally they were back to back. So I'm thinking, well, where is Eric Anpin in this? Well, Eric Anpin is in between him. Is he the wall? Is that what he's talking about? So I don't know. They're originally back to back. And they are in fact the two shoulders. So he wants to say the two shoulders are joined in some way. To base kasvim elu, Derek Adpin, Kain zer v'nuk. So then look at them. Malbishin the base prakim rishoned to netzach and hod the Eric Adpin. So they also we know that they're also correspond to the netzach and hod in Eric Adpin. V'sham odim zer v'nuk. That's where you find them. So you have these two sets of male and female. One on the right side, one on the left side at the shoulders, and another one, which I guess the arms, you must say, and the other one is at the legs. So the zer v'nukvem b'chubarim b'beis v'kasfeichem ach ba'ach. So again, the words are that they're joined together at those two shoulders, back to back. So he says, okay, but now he's not talking about. He's talking about at the shoulders. Kaspel sayim, that is, their shoulders are joined together. Let me read it one more time. Zer v'nuk muchubarim b'beis kasfeihem. Their shoulders are joined ach ba'ach. V'zechav v'sod shtei kisfos chovros. That's the concept of the two shoulders joining, two sets of shoulders. I can't. V'rei od be'etz chaim. So look over there. V'zel v'shono. V'hin is bar b'zorim the he said inyan klas almin. The concept here of the three worlds. The nafki mahachu tikunika the moa that come out of that first tikkun. Now, do we start something else again? I'm not sure. So we have a picture of Abba Ve'ima and Zer Anpin being joined at the shoulders. And somehow it's not like I'm trying to answer my own question. This is that where is Eric Anpin in this? And I would say that Eric Anpin is more ethereal than he's not as physical as they are. So their shoulders, therefore, could be touching because it's more of a physicality, and Eric Anpin is in between them, but not affecting that. Something like that. So I'm trying to get a picture of that. Moving on. So in the first tikkun, which we said before is das, there's three parts, the dikna, the anikwa, kale. So the first tikkun is called kale. V'sham be'arna inyanim, ech acher shegimel lomos elu nischabahu v'sham b'hachu tikkuna. So he says they're factually gimel lomos that join together in that same place. Od yardu lamata v'chatzilus. Atzmo begimel lomos. Now let me see. There is od yardu lamata. So then they went down further. Batzilus in olam atzilus atzmo begimel lomos into three different worlds. V'acher, I'm not sure if I read that right, but he means to say that they're no longer in atzilus. Let me read it again. V'sham be'arnach b'inyanim ech acher shegimel lomos elu nischavel v'sham b'hachu tikuna. So they're there. Od Yardu Lamata, but they were there, but then they had a Yerida. They read a Batzilus into Atzilus Atzmo, Begimel Olomos. So they created, as he wants to say, three Olomos of Bia. So it's like the Abia of Bia. No, the Bia of Abia. That's the Bia of Atzilus. There we go. So then they go back from there. They read Od Gimel Bechinus, the Mata Begimel Olomos Beri Yitzir and the Sia. But then after that, after they go through all of Atzilus, which he says would be the Bri Yitzira, the Bia of Atzilus, they go actually into creating of the word, the three worlds, Bri Yitzira and Asiya. He said, he came neged Bina Tiferes and Malchus, and what are they? Now, how does this work? He says, because we know this to be a fact, that Bria is connected Bina, and exactly in what way, I'm not sure, and Tiferes is connected Yitzira, and Malchus is connected Asiya. So all of these different things have those relationships. So when we talk about the Acharana, where did this come into? We're talking about the same thing. The dinim osem hagimel olamos. And they come out dinim shalach. These three olamos hanal. So the first one that comes out is behind the Divina of Atzilus. The Olam Abayis who Akre the Zer Anpin de Atzilus. The Olam Agimel who Akre Malchus de Atzilus. Now he's just placing this. He's playing something in first, and then it's the pneumistic part, and then he has another part outside, which sounds like the words that are referred to klipos, but he hasn't said that. Hotzi as Zilpah. So the first one, which is the Bina, which is, I guess, corresponds to Leah, he says, Olam Hotzi as Zilpah Shifchas Leah. He Ach Leah, because she represents the Acharayim of Leah. Menodaki Leah, he bebechinas Bina. So understand, Leah is the Acharayim of Bina, and though this is the Acharayim of the Acharayim. Then the next one comes out on the back of Zeranpit. Shel Bechinas Adas and Bechinas Tiferes Shalo. He said Shnayim Anoshim Meraglim. Now we saw this. I know we saw this. It was real vague for us over there in the Eitz Chaim. So again, he says that. So behind the Das and the Tiferes are these two spies. This is mentioned in Parshas Achrei Mos. So she has a secondary aspect also, which is her maidservant Bilhah. So these last two, I guess he said, Me'elu habeis olamos. Now, which was he talking about? He says, she's so you have Zer Anpin and Rochel also were attached to their mochin that go out to the klipos from there, as we said. Min ha'olam harishon shehu Zilpah shifchas Leah shehu b'bechida Bina. She's at the level of Bina. Now there's this very, very mysterious words here. There's a certain bird that come out from her. The words again is that from this, that we're talking about Zilpah here. Let me read again. Mina olam arishon shehu Zilpah shifchas Leah. Shehu bechinas Bina. Yatzivimano Tzipor Echad, a bird came out from there. Shehu Muach Echad Shal HaChochma, which is the one Muach of the Chochma of the Nukba de Klipa. And then after this, Pashto Begam came Elu Hatflas Omim Bria Yitzira Nesiyah. So once you get to this bird, which is the beginning, is Shalachachma, he says it is Sipor Echad Shuhu Muach echod. It's one muach of the chokhmah of the nukva the klipa. So one moach comes out. They come out. After that, acher kach nispashet gam came elah atflas almin bebri yitzim. And then it goes out further, continues going out until you reach that place. Kamavur etzlo beidra rabba davkof lamegemel. V'rei ba'otzer bi'urim, he says over there. V'ha'ar sham, etc., etc., etc. Ein sham. So that was an excursion. So what's happening is that the light, for whatever reason, this is the structure of the light. The light comes from the core of Eric Anpen, in different places, and it works its way backwards through the Acharayim, which have these names. Now, exactly how that works in the way that we understand Chumash, it's hard to understand, but he means to say that the light becomes diluted in different ways, and the pneumius is not there, and as a result of that, it starts to feed the klipa. That's my explanation. Anyway, let's go for number yud now, and read over to number yud aleph. So he says, and number yud says, v'nimsa ki biruri hamalachim ha'elohim shorsh hakli shal hakelim atachtainim. Let's say the birurim themselves of the malachim. That is the Kedusha Dika aspect that has now come into Atzilus. Heim Shorsh, they themselves are the root of the Kli of the Kli Shalakalim, that is Hatachtonim, of the lower Kalim. Now, what we means by the lower Kalim, I'm not sure yet. V'hu nikra kan Hakika. Hakikas called Hakikos, and it's called the carving of all of the carving, the ultimate carving or the final carving. Behind kli rishon v'chashorisho kol hakelim kamor. So he says this is the first. This is like the first model, and after that it becomes a template for all the rest, something like that. So let's see, what do we get to? So he wants to say that the birurim themselves are the makers of the kalim. Now, what I'm missing from my understanding is what Kalim is he talking about, and it seemed to be that he was talking about the worlds, the different worlds, which are Kalim, perhaps. Let's look at number Yud Aleph. It says Rei b'Haaretz La'el. He said the Chakikas v'Giluf Hainu Inyan Kli v'Tzimtzum or Ein Sham. So we had probably talked about that as a concept of a Kli contracting the light. He says, "For the mashin is boyer b'ha'arach hakadeves." So according to what we explained in the last idea, nimsaki tlas almen detikun the rishon mispashtim b'nim shafim b'darga l'darga. So each one of them, they move from level to level. Mendikna the Eric Anpin, the Kasvim the Eric Anpin, and they go from the beard, they go to the shoulders of Eric Anpin, where they get transferred to Abba Neba and said, Min Kasvim the Eric Anpin, the Kasvim the Acharayim, the Abba Ve'ima, and it comes all the way through Abba Ve'ima to their backsides too. The Bechinas Acharayim, the Leah Rachel, until it keeps going backwards and gets to all of this Sheva, so it goes to what's on the back of Malchus. Shehem dinim, which are dinim now. That Malchus is dinim. Behine call acharayim the dinim. Hey, bebechinas siku v'tzimtzum ma'or. What's the concept of dinim anyway? It means contraction of the light of Hashem. Behind the dinim, hey, bebechinas siku v'tzimtzum ma'or. V'af mispasha bebechinas mochin the klipa. So then, but also continues spreading, and it spreads also into the aspect of the mochin the klipa. Then that is a place where there's no light. I guess you make it up as you go along. If you can't see where to go, you start making it up, letting the animal part take over, I guess. So alamos is lashon hiding. So all of the concept of hiddenness is Vasila B'Tzimtzum Ma'or. That's what it's all about. So as we get further and further away from the core, which is the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, we get less and less light until we come to a place like we're at now. Because they have been Giluf. for kli. So all of this is the aspect of this carving out and having a kli. Now he said ve'ikar kol zeh ba'alma kadimah, the tlas alma. Now the main place of this is the first place. What's that first place? Is the melech hadas. Ki alma kadimah b'kol b'beis olamos shemetachdo, because it has two olamos below it. That is chesed gevura, or what does he what does he mean? Maybe he means chaganai. B'shem the Malvasharim, he says over there, B'shem Amari Rashbi, he said B'shem Ein Sham V'od Ki Iker Inyan Gevuros, because the main part of the Inyan of these Gevuros Adinim, the Tlas Almim, Hu Mitzad Elef the Alma Kadimo. Now Aleph, maybe he means Aleph means the chief. Maybe it means that it has two 500s inside of it. I mean, it's maybe a lot of things, but I just thought that. Mitzat Elef the Alma Kadimah, that is the 1,000 that has to do with the first world. Shashor Shechah Begevura the Atik, so it has a root in the Gevura the Atik. And then we have that over there in the Mabusharm, I'm Sham Vregam Beitz Chaim, he said that the Decha Bepikadis Akadim, Naazim Ayedecha Sadim Megevuras the Das. Episode Osios Ein Sham. That was Yud Aleph. Now, this is the part where the snake comes in. Since we just had Parshas Bereshis, and so now we're talking about the Chezu the Hivyu. So there's the appearance of a snake. So he says, what has appearance of a snake? For his pashtus bechinas akelim shal olam arishon. So the fact that this concept, we were just talking about the top. We saw how it goes sideways, and it goes into klipa. So behiyos akelim shal olam arishon b'kol hapartzufim v'olomos nira kamara the most nachosh. So he says what he says. So this pashtus looks like a nachash. So he said, "Ki kenegdam ba'acharayim omdi maklipo shehem bebechinas nachash." Because why? What does this have? How did this metaphor work? So he says because the klipos, which are the concept of the snake, they're waiting behind all of this. So, but he had said that there's an appearance. Does he mean to say that in the background there's this snake? Ba'aklipa he keneged the kedusha zela umazeh. But then he says that the klipa always corresponds as an opposite part of kedusha as well. So let's see what we're now on number Yud Bet. So he said Yud Bet says ki lashon kechezu, like the vision or the appearance, pirusha mara v'dimyon. So it's a vision or the appearance. Agomoshabir kan baragos derek emes is a begil on the zohar v'zalashonu. Kechezel the hivya, like the appearance of that, is gala b'sham mara v'dimyon. So he's tying down this word chezo. So it's a vision. It's some kind of a dream, some kind of thing like that, or imagine in his imagination. Shall nachash arach, like a long snake adkan. Behind it, the irate kan bebechinas a kedusha. So what we're talking about here is kedusha. Asher abedachas sova b'maklipos shein bebechinas nachash. So he says that surrounding the kedusha is always the klipos. The chem gama kedusha nira a kamara v'dimyon shall nachash. So therefore, since I have to try to think how we can understand this, but he says that since in the background is the appearance of the nachash, so the chem gama kedusha nira kamara v'dimyon shall nachash. It looks like it's the opposite, like a reflection of the nachash, something like that. V'secha v'bechinas nachash the kedusha. Kamos should be farish of Talmud, like the Talmud, the Vidarko, Bezel the Shona. From excuse me, Bechez the Hivya. It's on the Ketorah HaNachash, Besod Nachash, Kedusha, Beriach HaTichoin. So this, we had this word Beriach is this, I think it's a span, right? It's something that goes, measures between a bar or something like that, goes between the two. He says that this is the tichon means inside, no? So he said, "Ritzon aloma b'vurach nachash b'sod nachash kedusha b'riach hatichon ki gam zecha leuma zeh asa elokim," because they're both together, they're opposite each other. Gemosh shachatun b'chaviyesh nachash akolazol. So that's the surrounding nachash. Hamora al Samakel, which is really telling us about the other side. He says, Kain yesh kenegda b'kedusha, you have that adkan. Ayin sham v'rei b'zecha b'gam b'sefer atar tzvi. Al hazoer b'kan, and it says over there, v'rechi b'arach b'shem ri tovel. The Iker Inyan Tanin, that is the Nachash, who b'kedusha. The main part of it is really kedusha. Rak hanimshal hu b'klipa, but it's compared, or it's opposite to it, comes out from it, the klipa. Klipas yesh lo eze chiza b'kedusha, because they have a connection. Now he just described the connection, that it goes through these various different names and stages, and like that. V'ga'ayin zecha b'rei b'ferish maril srok, he zecha b'zal b'shalom v'lihiyosha kodem sheyitzhavo sitra achra choysa ha'chakika nizka v'sod din belvad. I'm not sure exactly what he wants to say, but he said that before there was a Sitra Akra, he said you had this Hakika that we mentioned before, which is an Indian of Din. And then, so after that originally came out, then the Kalim broke. The Asis Basod Din Kosher, they became a really bad Din. So after the Chet, Klipa Gasa became a really big, gross klipa. Behind the Hibya, like he said, Arich, that's what he's saying, like we're trying to go into different ideas here. Adkan. And I guess we're out of time. So there is one more paragraph. Do we have time to do that?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.